Hey guys, how are you? Welcome. I think this might be it's the first live I'm doing on the channel. There may or may not have been lives in the past, but I see a lot of people here, so nice to see you all. Hope you're all doing well on a what's turning into sort of a warm Sunday here in sort of the northern Midwest. It was very fall this week, but I don't know. It's going to be at least 90, so we'll see. I know Joy was telling me earlier that she was probably going to be somewhere close to a pool, so that sounds very nice. I may try to do that at some point soon. Anyway, um, so hi, welcome. I recently joined the Pickly Pear design team, so I thought that I'd use a bunch of Halloween stuff that I had on hand, and I had gotten a really good tip. Well, let me take you down to my desk so you can see what on earth I'm talking about. Sometimes I forget these things. There we go. Um, so the two things I really wanted to play with today are these Wacky Waves dies, and I pre-cut these out of these three different colors of cardstock. I think I'm probably going to go with these two because they seem a lot closer um, in color. So I think it would be um, less of a contrast, but we'll see. I mean, it's Halloween, so it's kind of everything goes. I'm also thinking I might cut my card base square just because these are square. And the tip I had gotten from Sharon, I believe, was that if you leave these together, as in don't cut these dies apart, you can actually get sort of an additional layer of the frame. Like if you cut these apart, you get like this frame and this frame, but you wouldn't really get this piece in the middle. And this would be kind of a pain to line up. So I never thought of that, but it's a really good idea, and I think it'll lead to like a really cool looking background. So that's sort of thing one. And thing two is I really like this koala stamp set. It's like super cute, and I'll zoom in a little bit when we do a little coloring in a bit. And let me see. Oh, hello, Joy. Thank you. Oh, so Terry and I were talking before the live started, and basically she was saying that she cut card bases crooked. Um, I had an issue where I don't remember where I got the card stock from. I want to say Michael's, but essentially the card stock itself was miscut, like in the factory. So it's sort of like you lined it up and you assumed it would be even, but then it wasn't. So when you kind of did the like measure, cut the card stock in half and assume that both sides are the same, like they came out a little different. Anyway, trials and tribulations, I suppose. But anyway, like on these, I really want to color these koalas. I think I really like the witch, and I really like the ghost. The Frankenstein is cool too, but I was thinking we could do two cards. I'm thinking the ghost is a little bit, I don't know, more dress up cute, if that makes sense. Like to me, it sort of feels more like something a kid would wear, just because it's basically a sheet. Um, so I think I would do this with sort of this color palette to sort of do more of a like a fall card essentially. And then I grabbed leftover pattern paper from my August challenge. And I thought this would look really cool with the witch because it's just sort of like this cloudy, spooky thing. So I thought I might do that. And I also pulled some like faux glitter pattern paper I had in sort of Halloween adjacent colors. So I thought I might use one of my favorite card sketches that probably won't be a surprise to anybody if I bring it up. But I might do that for the witch. But I think I will start out by doing a little bit of quick coloring and stamping and all that. I do have the dies associated with these too, and they're pretty nice because so like this is the witch die. I mean, they're flipped obviously like when you cut with them, but it's got these little extra pieces here where it'll actually cut out if you look on the witch stamp, it'll cut out sort of this white space and this white space. So it'll definitely make things a little nicer. Um, and I don't know, I might I feel like I'm gonna color these and then maybe pop them up to just sort of make them a little more special. Because I feel like these are like really the focus of the whole card. And let me just see if I missed anything. Yeah, they are. There are actually a bunch of them. I only have the Halloween ones, but there's at least a Christmas set, and I think there are more. I want to say there may be 4 or 5 stamp sets in in the koala line, but I think it's cute. The only weird thing about koalas, though, is like if you watch like koala videos on the internet, like koalas, the animal, make the least cute noise you could think of. Um, but I don't know, one of my best friends in high school was from Melbourne, so, like, I've always kind of liked koalas and other sort of, Australian adjacent animals. But, let's see if I missed anything else. Oh, yes. Oh, thank you very much. That's handy. The set, and I think I forgot to do this, but in future I'll link the products I'm using just in the video description, so that like when this turns into a replay at some point, like it's easy to find stuff. Yep. I don't know. I think like cute animals dressed up are just always kind of an awesome thing. But let me grab my Misty. And I don't know if I'm like the weirdest person for doing this, but like I always kind of keep whatever sentiments I use all the time on the top of my Misty and then just sort of stamp on the bottom. But I need some paper. Whoops. And let's grab some coloring paper and just whack it in half, and that should give us plenty of room. I'm not quite sure. I was thinking maybe I'd color these and then die cut them out as like within like some sort of a frame die, but the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm kind of like, I think using it like perhaps using the provided dies will really kind of make them stand out, because then they would be more, I don't know. I think that will make it look a little more cool. The second card, we might do the idea I just talked about. Well, we'll see. Let's deal with one thing at a time. Here we go. And I really love some of these sentiments are really cute. That's why I save some of these cut pieces. I'm thinking we could use this as a sentiment strip and do something with it. I don't know. I forget who I was talking to. It's sort of like some people plan out their cards. I kind of wing them, but I don't know. I almost always have like an actual idea. It's just whether or not that idea eventually manifests. And I really like the size of these. I'm gonna try and keep these a little separate, just in case I do want to die cut them out in a different way. Because then, if I at least have enough room where I can cut these in half, we should be good. And there we go. That is the one side effect of doing this, but I think I'll go in with some Memento just because I'm probably going to color these. And I don't know, the ghost, I mean, I feel like the ghost one is going to be easy. I typically opt for sort of the Crafty L style of like quick coloring of things. Um, but I don't know, it depends. We'll see. It's funny, I like have multiple stamp pressure tools, and then, oh, that stamped really nicely. Yeah, I think we're good. That never happens, especially like on a live. I am shocked. But anyway, like usually what happens is like I managed to like misstamp the whole like first time around, and then we're just sort of doing a little bit more cleanup. But I think I'm gonna start with the ghosty, and hopefully, and I'm gonna grab. I'm just gonna cheat and grab a tri-blend in warm gray because I think that'll work. I probably want some kind of pink though, and could do the same, or could just grab whatever you are. What are you? You are not the pink I'm looking for. Here we go. think this will work. I've been using this RB21 as sort of a go-to pink, and if you layer things over it, it looks less crazy. Let me see. I don't know. Like I have the, I mean, I have the ones that are a blade style, and I have a guillotine. I feel like a good guillotine is still the best option. And let me just zoom in a little bit. There we go. So while I'm coloring, you can actually see what I'm doing, because that would probably be helpful. Um, but I've been a fan, and let's see. Yes, I think I got everybody. Okay, so as you notice, these aren't super black, but I have a solution to that I'll show you in a second. But what I'm just gonna basically go in and do is I think I'll just do the pink first, and then I'll probably do dark to light coloring. But I'm thinking that basically I just want to. I'll probably layer whatever the least gray here is on that, and I think we'll be pretty okay. So let's go in with our darker gray on the ear tops. It's funny, like before this live, I was actually like looking at koala pictures on the internet because I'm like, I don't know what color koalas are, but essentially they're mostly gray. They're mostly a light gray. I guess I'll say if you wish to do like a lifelike koala, if you want to do rainbow koalas, that's fine too. Um, But they're mostly sort of like the same kind of gray as like a cat. Well, like at least my cat, like who's a like a gray and white tabby. So I think then the only danger of these things is if I'm liking where this is going. I'm just gonna cover the pink to make it a little less pink. And I think that works pretty well. One trick I learned a while back was, and I may take this gray and just do a little, just soften the clothing folds a little bit. And then we're just gonna do his little feet. I don't know if they have feet or paws. I guess they're more like, I guess they're kind of both. There we go. And I don't know. I'm liking how he is looking. I mean, he's looking very koala-y, which I think is the point. And really, the only other thing I wanna fix on him is his eyes, because it's not quite reading on camera, but Memento doesn't do the most wondrous job of, like, a super black, which is fine. You know, and, hello, Lynn, how are you? Welcome. We were just coloring cute little koalas. I don't know if you saw the actual stamp set we're playing with. It's this koala trick or treat koala goblins, and I stamped out the ghost and the witch. So we're coloring them, and then we're gonna figure out what we actually want to do. And I see a spot. I would like you a little more colored. And actually, I may come back on his ears with just not go all the way in, but just sort of on the outside, just to. I like that looks a little bit better. Because you can always go back and layer again. These markers tend to dry lighter than they look when they're wet, sort of like watercolor. There we go. But I like that because these stamps, as you can see kind of on the witch here, right? Like the stamps themselves have a lot of the fur details built in, which makes things like way easier. Um, So my solution, if you want your eye, actually, I'll clear this so you can see what I'm doing. If you want your eyes to be really dark, typically what I'll do is reach for one of these. What are these? They're not gel pens, but glaze pens. I'm not sure who makes them actually, but they do a really good job in sort of making the eyes a lot darker. Um, the other option with a lot of these things is if you want to use a gem or a pearl, or if you're a googly eye person, you can do that as well. Let's see. Wasn't built enough to. Yeah. I don't know. I always feel like 5x7s are not the cards I do for sure, or not all the time. I don't know. Somebody asked me to do one once, and I'm like, I guess I could do one of those. Anyway, yes, I like them. I use them. If anybody watched my bird series, where I was playing around with a bird stamp. As you can see, they're not quite like a gel pen. Like the ink is, I don't want to say more viscous exactly, but I don't know. I feel like using them, the feel of it is a lot more, I don't know, kind of like working with a wet medium, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, and I think what I'll do is, because everything's better sparkly. While those are drying, I think I'll do a little touch up on the ghost with a little of this sparkle pen. Let me just find some scrap to. Oh, this will work fine. It's like you clean your desk for things, and then you kind of. The one thing I don't like about this is okay. Now it's flowing pretty okay. What I'm gonna do is just this think is a Spectrum Noir product, but basically what it does is it's sort of a wet medium, but it just is basically like some clear glitter essentially. I'm just gonna go over the folds, and I went over sort of the tops here just to add a little more. I don't know, to just make the ghost a little more special. And this stuff dries, like, super fast, which is also nice. You can actually see it. I can see it in real life. I don't know if it reads on camera or not, but this will dry very quickly. Let's see. It doesn't, but pretend the ghost is glittery. Um, so I think our ghosty friend is doing pretty well. So we just need to figure out. I think I'm gonna go with the similar koala color palette, but then we need to figure out what colors we want. Um, and then I'll probably go in, and especially the nose was probably worth glaze penning. Alrighty. Well, have some fun, Lynn. Hope you have a good afternoon. Or I guess it's earlier for you, 2 hours earlier for you. I guess it's basically lunchtime. Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like I should do my holiday cards 5x7 particularly, because I feel like if you're doing collages or scenes, like, they're really good for that. I don't know. It kind of depends on, I guess it depends on your own personal tastes, but I don't know. I like, I mean, I like all cards, but I think you make a good point about the card real estate. Let's just essentially repeat what we did before for the ears and be fairly careful around the hat brim. Just going to go in and hit the top here a bit. We definitely probably need a brown for the broom. Depending on how we cut this out, if we use the actual die, whoops, sorry about that. I was a bit too low. Um, the nice thing about the die that comes with the die you can get that cuts these out, I think, is that like, because it cuts those extra pieces, if you do a little bit of an oopsie, it probably will be less of a big deal. I think we definitely want to do a little pink mouth. I think I'll just continue with the light gray and sort of make the clothing more of the focus here. And I just love this little spider on the witch. I think that's just super cute. And I'll switch back to the dark to just work a little bit on the hands and the feet. There we are. And we can always go back and touch these up later too. But I don't know. I feel like these really hit sort of the mark of being sort of right in between like cute Halloween and spooky Halloween. Because I think it was, I forget whose video I was watching who was talking about this, but it's sort of like that. There's always like, a distinct definition, I think, in most people's sort of friend groups where there's some people who just love the spooky Halloween and other people who are, much more into sort of the cute look. I think she's coming together pretty well. Oh, wow. Really, Carrie? That's cool. Like, I don't know how I would like I did a whole bunch of crafting in Christmas in July, and I'm not sure how much of the things that I made I necessarily want to like give away. Let's grab some purple, and I definitely want, how about a tan? I want to do the broom in sort of that's a weird tan. Well, that's more of a brown. Actually, that'll work out fine. Anyway, let me just do that. Oh, I like that. Then I'll grab the next one. And let's see. Likes me to include a letter in the 4 by. No, I mean, that makes sense. I actually enjoy I have a couple of family members who do the Christmas letter thing, which is nice because it's just sort of, I don't know. As a person with a job of a certain age, you kind of lose track of people sometimes. I think I'll give her a brown belt too. I'm liking this, but I feel like she's definitely more of a purple sort of witch. But I like the idea of like having her kind of match her broom. But I don't know. I guess it depends how the same the cards are. Whoop. I feel like if I was doing like a chunk of very similar cards, that's almost more of a pink. Let's see how dark this purple is. Oh, I like this color a lot. So let's edge the hat in this and try out. See how this midtone is, or if it's going to be like yeah. So this is kind of a thing with the tri-blends, unfortunately, which is uh, sometimes they don't blend as nicely as you'd like. But you can always go over it again with the darker color. I've had a couple where it's like, you just get sort of a wonky look. But I like this dark is definitely sort of the purple I was hoping for. Anyway, like I think if you just were doing a single card format 100 times, like it's still a lot, but you could at least kind of bulk cut and, get some other. Well, maybe she's more of a pink witch. Maybe I think I'll use a little warmer. Mm, Give her a little sassier looking mid-tone. Oh, okay. Well, I'm happy that you joined us to watch. I hope things are going well for you. I mean, assuming you're still at the Mayo Clinic, you're basically in my neck of the woods. So I hope things are going well for you and your family. I think so too. Well, that's a good idea. Someone else did that recently, and I was like, that's really smart. Like that you could just sort of, and I don't remember who it was, but someone was telling me that they basically would always leave their, um, well, I mean, not always, but they would often leave their front of their card blank, well, not uncolored, so that there would be more fun essentially for the kiddos who were getting them. I kind of like that as an idea. I think I'm going to use this darker pink that's in the purple tri blend for who knows why. But then I'm going to use the lighter color to sort of give her sort of a two-tone look. And I think it'll be fine. It'll be all in the same color family. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I feel about a pink koala witch, but I mean, she could be a good witch. Sort of like Glenda. I mean, Glenda wore pink, so it probably will work out in the end. And I'll go over this a second time, I think. That'll probably help to blend this out. Yeah, I'm liking that. I'm liking her as sort of a fun witch. And this glaze pen has been dry for a while. It dries a lot, like stays glossy. Whoops, my head's in the way. It stays glossy, but it's a little strange in that, like, because it stays glossy, I can never tell when it's dry. So I live one state over. I'm in southern Wisconsin. I'm in the Madison area. Um, but who was it? Mary Gun Fun was up when she took her break for stuff at the Mayo Clinic, and you know, yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, I think when you're talking about, I feel like it's bad to change the subject between real life and like card making, but yeah. So I hope things go well. But yeah, the Mayo Clinic is interestingly not all that far from me. I think it's like a 6-hour drive. It's actually not that crazy. But yes, I would agree that like when we're talking about mythical animals dressing up as other mythical things, like, you can pretty much go with whatever color scheme you prefer. But I'm gonna go back in with the glaze pen because I really want the koala witch to have a shiny nose. Do the same thing on the eyes. These have a ball in them basically, so the more you go over them, the darker they'll be, and that's looking pretty good. I'll work on her nose a little bit more. There we are. Okay. So I think I will let these dry for a second, and we can try to put together our card base. I was thinking I really wanted to go with a square, and I was thinking like some sort of fall color would be good. So this one, which just to grab our other two. Like I think it'll be a nice kind of. It's not the. It's slightly lighter, but I think it will make sort of a nice, or I should say, these are a little brighter. This is a little more muted, but I think it'll go well together. So let me just grab my die cuts. Well, actually, first, because I think if this is cut square at 4 1/4, now we have a square card. The neat thing is if you do this kind of a technique with a card, you can actually always use this to make sort of a really easy like Z fold, or I guess I should say joy fold, because you can put it back and then you have a place to put sort of a hidden message. Whoops, sorry, I am totally on camera at the moment. But today I think what I want to do is sort of use this as our base and then start layering on top of this. And figure out, take all of our, that's probably a good starting size. And what I probably should do is I'll get the ones I don't need sort of to the side. Whoop. No, let me just make a couple little piles of these and then we can start piecing them together. So these are, we probably don't need the like right in the middle ones, if that makes sense, because I think you basically will have a koala there. There we go. Some of these are definitely too big. And if you had separated these and not stuck them all in the same envelope, that probably would have made your life easier as well. But we'll figure it out. This is the kind of thing I like to just sort of dry fit, and then you can start gluing it together once you have a better sense of how it all goes. I don't think we need any of the small pieces or any really big ones, so I think we're pretty good at the moment. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. So you can see this in a little more detail. Now, basically, all we need to do is figure out. So this one is definitely going to be the next wacky wave. I might actually do this off the card now that we know what size we want. And the other thing I've seen people do is they'll like put this kind of thing all together, and then what you can do, that was the one we just used, so we know we don't need that again. So I'm thinking this is probably the next largest one. Anyway, well, oh, I was gonna say, like, what I've seen people do is you can put one of these things together, and then if you have low tack tape, you can just sort of tape the whole thing over. That one's a little small. This one's probably the next size. It is. Um, if you'd rather do that than gluing these all individually, because you can basically pick them all up and then just put tape across it and then put glue on or other adhesives on wherever you're going. That one is also too big. Oops. And so it's probably this one by process of elimination. Yep. And the die is not completely symmetrical, so I'm sure if you did this a bunch of times, it would become pretty apparent. Let me see what comments I'm missing. Oh, thank you. I don't know, like, it's funny because I feel like coloring is one of those things that's a ongoing journey forever. Well, that's good. I mean, I always feel like, the thing that's I guess I'll say looking back on my own health issues over the years, it's like the people who are supporting you are always the ones you kind of feel bad for because they're the ones who are kind of sitting around trying to think of something to do. Hi, Cindy. How are you? Oh, good to see you. Yeah, and if you have any thoughts on like what are good times to stream for most people, feel free to let me know in the comments on here, or you can just drop them in the live chat. Yeah, and I think the more what's the word I'm looking for? The more contrast between the patterns or the colors, the more you would wind up with. Like this looks pretty I mean, they're different colors, but they look kind of there we go. And but I mean, I think if you did like white and black, the other thought I had this morning was like you could either stencil or do this with like pattern paper as well. I think this is good because that'll give us some space. And I think I'll try that technique because I don't think I have before. And we'll see if the technique I suggested works or not. That's always a little interesting because why not try things live? Like it's probably a bad idea, but we'll see how it works out. But the idea is basically you would just pick these all up as a single entity. So then we can basically place these down. So all we really need to do is put some adhesive on the back here, and then we should be able to sort of place them all at once. Yeah, I mean, I think the more monochromatic you go, sort of the more you're gonna wind up with you're gonna see the texture of the waves as opposed to the color. I don't actually need to like glue all the thing. You don't need a ton of glue here because we're gonna be when I push this down, there's gonna be a lot of glue in between. And I don't know, I think that's one of the things like with paper you always forget about is like you don't actually need like a ton of adhesive. Like a little bit will glue things pretty well. I do want to make sure the edge is nicely coated. And in theory, we can just do this and grab something to burnish with, and we should be pretty okay. Whoops, sorry about that. The nice thing is this glue sets pretty quickly, so that will, ooh, oh, that's unfortunate. Oh well, I guess we will be putting a sentiment there. If I can't scrape a little bit of that off. Oh well. The one thing I want to be a little careful of, as you can see, is pulling this up because I don't want to wreck the paper if possible. But I don't know. I think we did okay. And if anything does lift up, essentially you could come back and work on that. And so I think we'll probably want to put a sentiment here because I got a little schmutz on. Whoops, sorry about that. I always forget I have comments up and people can't see stuff. There's a little bit of schmutz on the edge here, but I think we can put our sentiment here. And then my thought is we can die cut out our ghosty and put him here and then pop him up a little bit. So I think I just need to Let me put my glue back together and my waves back together and clean some of the mess off the desk. I think we just can use these coordinating dies and we can just cut him out. But first, let's not lose any of these because I really like these frames. And it seems like you could, I mean, you could even use these by themselves just to do a little, like a background, you know? Like you could just sort of scatter them around for kind of a geometric effect too. But die cutting them out as a set is really efficient. So I really like that. There we go. And since they're frames, they're not too hard. You know what I mean? They're really easy to pick up. Because I managed to not pick them up. And they do have a little corner since they're wacky. But I think we are good. We have enough for about like 10 more projects. So there's that too. But this came together nicely. So let us just find my scissors and we can cut this guy out. You could fussy cut, but I'm so bad at it, we're going to use the die. There we are. He is looking very cute. Let's just move up a little bit so we can, so the die cutting doesn't take away your whole view. Let's see if I'm missing anything. Yeah, I don't know. My friend Lynn, who was here earlier, is a big fan of burnishing everything. So I've started to do that. I don't know. Like, I feel like you do it wrong a few times and then realize that doing it right is a lot easier. Let's see. There they are. Or maybe not. Well, I might not use my little cutter because I'm not sure where I put my wire cutters. I'm sure they're in. Might be in my tool jar. Let's look at that quick. I do not see them. How strange. Well, we can probably make do with our junk scissors. Oh, and my wire cut. Sometimes in life, you know. Whoops, I'm sorry. I knocked you slightly crooked. There we go. Yeah. So my wire cutters were right next to my junk scissors because of course they were. I don't know. I feel like it's sort of like every time I clean up, I manage to put something I use all the time somewhere that I didn't think I would ever put it, but we all have our moments, I guess. There's that guy. See what else we're connected to. This actually is probably a good thing because I definitely needed to take these apart to work on the witch. And there's one left. But I gotta say, I really love dies this size because they work with the sidekick. Which is here. I think all we really need to do is take this guy down and see where I put my die plates. Here they are. I don't know. It's always the fun of live streams, isn't it? You're always like losing something. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I think I'm all caught up. But anyway, I always seem to have like a bunch of washi tape on my desk, so I always use that for die cutting, even though it's like a little, I don't know. Sometimes it works better than others. I think this is pretty well lined up. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of a border, which should be nice. Yeah, that looks about right. Somehow I dyed my finger green. That's an interesting. I don't know. Like I'm always surprised when I go back into work on like Monday that like no one asks me like why my fingers are green. I don't know if people are just used to it by now or what. But this guy is a little wide for the sidekick. But we can fix that. There we go. Whoops. Maybe use one more piece of tape. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Like, cleaning up is really when I lose things because it's like you have an idea about. Let's see. Oh, let me retape this guy a little bit. I was a little overzealous. There we go. That's better. Yeah. There we are. And sounded like he cut out just fine. Yep. That's always nice. And here's our little ghosty all cut out. Save the tape, and we can probably just do our witch right now. I don't think there's anything else much to do on her. Don't think I'll bother saving that scrap. But I don't know. I'm liking how these claws are looking. And the witch should be super easy to cut off here. There's that one and that one. And then one more. Here we go. I will put those on a magnetic sheet after the stream. I don't know. I'm becoming a big fan of those like magnet sheets for holding dies. I think it was Crafty L, I want to say, now has sort of a took like a chalkboard and put magnets on it and then just sort of has all the common dies out. I'm kind of tempted to see if I could do that because it seems like it would be really convenient. And here you can see how, let's just line her up. I think that's pretty good. Grab our tape. And then tape around the other side. I always wish there was a way to like cut these out backwards so you didn't have to like tape on the nice stuff you just colored, but you know, details. Oops. Make sure I didn't that is upside down. That is still attached, so hooray. There we go. It's weird. I think the sidekick and my Platinum 6 crank in the opposite direction. So it's like every time I use one and then use the other, I can never quite remember how things go. Oh, this looks nice. So here you can see like the benefit of this particular die, which I think is like super neat, is that so now you have the sort of inner pieces cut out. So when you go to like actually mount her on a card, she's gonna really fit into the, I don't know, like she'll really be part of the scene, which I really like. So I mean, I am a big fan of my scan and cut, but there's just certain things that like the outline dies do that like the scan and cut can't. So let's go back. Yeah, because I think with him here, I think I'll pop him up, but I mean, I think this will work well. But what I do want to go back in and do is I want a sentiment to sort of go here, I think. And let's see what we have. Here we are. I do like the Happy Koalaween, I think. Because they are koalas, but also just because I feel like the ghost in particular really looks like a koala in a costume, where like the Witch or the Frankenstein, you know, to me looks a little less like a dress up and more like they could be the actual things. But, you know, that's just my idea. And let's do the lighter yellow just because that hasn't been used in the card. And I'm going to offset this a little bit. Then I think we can just cut it down after we have it stamped. So I'm going to stamp it here. And, well, I don't know. We can, how would this lay out? No, that's going to be about right because I don't want this to get too wide just because we decided that square card would be the way we want to go. Let me see if I can find a nice brown ink. I think would work really well. This is sort of a ginger colored ink, so I think that'll like sort of keep with our whole. Yeah, I can stamp that a second time. Just because I don't know, I feel like everything other than black is always always needs a second go around. That is neat, and I really like the font for this card. So grab our trimmer and sort of figure out. I think that looks about even. Well, I could go to an inch. 3/4 is a little too, not quite enough. See how we did. I may cut. Maybe we should cut a little. Maybe cut it to. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll cut it to 3/4, but cut the bottom off, and then that looks pretty even. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Yeah, there we go. Happy Koalaween. Maybe do a little something on the edge here. That'll fit great. Maybe do a little embellishing on it as well. Let's see which punch. I may leave this square. I had another edge punch that might work well on it too. But I'm not sure where that guy got off to. Just sort of, I don't know, the ongoing saga of how easy it is to lose things on your desk. Right over here. That's funny because I think I pulled it out. Anyway, I may just corner around this guy a little bit. Here we go. Whoops. Which side is the... There we are. Oh, look. That looks cute with the wacky waves. So I'll just glue this guy down and just grab a little foam tape. Which of course is hiding. But I think all we really need is... I think this will work. Yeah, that looks perfect. So let's get that out of our way and just pour a little guy down. Here we go. And this one again won't need too much in the way of glue. The nice thing about the thing about like something like this and wet glue I like is it gives you a little bit of play, but I think this is pretty much together. Think about what kind, see if we have any, some enamel dots might be nice to just sort of accent this and add a little more interest. If I have ball ones, which I probably do, I do. If you've watched much of my stuff, I have too many enamel dots. Hello, Judy. How are you? Welcome. Let's see what I missed. It's always easy to miss stuff when you're actually crafting. Oh. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, I think I saw that. I'll definitely have to check that out. That is a really good idea. Ah, perfect. And in teal. Um, as a big fan of, I am a very big fan of teal. Oh, yeah, I can remind you, Joy. Hello, Judy. Thanks, Sharon. I'm thinking this sort of burnt orange color would work really well, and then I can cover over the thing that was a little bit of an oopsie, because that's what we do. We just put little sparkles on things that we might have messed up earlier. Um, I think I'll just do a little three thing cluster. Although this color would have worked nicely as well. But I think it adds sort of a magical vibe. I sort of like that. Maybe do a big one up here too, just to sort of. Well, maybe do another one up here just to kind of balance it out. There we go. I think that looks super cute. And I'll post pictures in the group after this live, but it's a little, how can I put it? The colors on camera are a little more monochromatic than it looks in real life. But I don't know. I'm liking this one. But let me see how long we've been streaming. But I think I want to do something with the witch. I like the idea of sort of putting her in a scene though, and using up some of my pattern paper. Oh yeah, I love them too. They're my favorite thing. These actually are a little bit. These have a little glitter in them, which probably is hard to see on camera as well. But I just love them because I mean I love every. I really like the self adhesive. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like embellishments. Let me get you off my desk too. I've been liking the stickles a lot too because they're a good way to just kind of add a little bit of pop of something. But they're since they're adhesive glitter, I feel like they're a little wet for a while. I think I like the idea of her kind of standing amongst the trees. Maybe more. And we could actually use some stickles to sort of ground her in, being a magical koala doing things. The other, let me cut this to size, and then I'll show you the other idea I was thinking about, and we can kind of decide what we think looks better. I want to basically make this into A2 card panel. And do this to 5 1/4. We'll get rid of some of our cloudiness. My thought is we could basically use strips of that glitter paper to just sort of make like a border, and then we would like essentially have her in the center, sort of levitating, which I still kind of like as an idea. My other thought was that if we use this pink one, which kind of makes sense, and now that she's sort of pink, Actually, we could leave 2 sides open and just sort of have, like, a bottom and a top piece, or we could just have a bottom piece. I kinda like that. Do a bottom piece and then stamp a sentiment on it. That I think I like best as an idea. Oh, thanks, Joy. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I colored her pink. You can color her whatever color you want, but just like it's got a really nice, like, I don't know, like a torn hem almost. I don't know. Or fringe, or I don't know. Whatever which koalas have. Again, one of these sort of discussions that like would only happen when crafting. So let's make this 3.5. I think that would work. Yeah. So I'm thinking this with her sort of levitating, maybe over here, just sort of put her. We could use. I'm thinking the boo sentiment might be nice, or we'll see how. We could also do. See if Happy Koalaween would fit. It would actually. Maybe in black, Happy Koalaween? I don't know. Kinda like that, though. Maybe I will keep using the same sentiment. I do like the idea. And I don't know, I tend to do that with cards a lot too, which is once I find a sentiment I really like, I just read, "Oh, yeah, that'll fit," just hard to see. That'll fit really nicely on there, I think. Yeah, I'm becoming a really big fan of. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, let's try that. Let's recut that and try it. Yeah, I think we'll definitely wanna stamp in black, but we have. Let me cut another inch piece, and let's try that. Cause right next to me, I actually have one of those fancy deckled tearing rulers, so we could actually tear this. That's a really good idea. I didn't even think of that. I never think to tear paper, I don't know why, but it's funny, it was someone on a live who actually told me that, like, the slot on this thing is so that you can do essentially use, like, a craft knife and get a really clean cut, but, I think let's see how much of this. I guess we can sort of use this to guide us, because I guess the first side we tear doesn't really matter, it's more the second one. There we go. Yeah, that looks really cool. Like, that looks nice. I like that. That looks like super distressed and everything. And then we can use this and can just use this as our guide, right? Because all we really need to do is make this sort of the same size or bigger. Although I still feel bad tearing paper. I'm like, but the paper is so cute. But oh, this is nice. Oh, this is cool. I like this. Good call, Sharon. I am a fan. Because then this is a little bit longer than the. It's the torn part is ever so slightly wider. So I think like having her sort of floating here. Oh, I like that. Good call. Excellent idea. Yeah, that was like an Amazon find. I forget why. I think I was doing a project with somebody, and it was I don't know if it was tearing. It was doing something with tissue paper, and then I kind of decided that tearing it made the most sense somehow. I don't know how that all came out, but it was a crafty thing. What can I say? So Happy Koalaween. That looks pretty good. Some year I really need to get a new magnet. Or a secondary one at least. We have dark green. We have that. Oh, here it is. My very well loved Midnight Black ink that I don't know. I swear I've had this ink pad for like 4 years, or it's probably not that long, but I've had it multiple years and haven't had to re-ink it. And I have a re-inker for it, but it's kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, let's hit that a second time. But it is amazing to me how much ink has been on this pad because it's been sort of my go-to for sentiments for a long time. There's someone else recommended something. Ooh, yes, that looks cool. Trying to remember what ink it was. I think it was the Versamark. Like, it's funny because it was kind of a buying oopsie where I wound up. I should like just, since I do a lot of streams for like new crafters, I should just offer to give it away because I have a bunch of it and like haven't used it in ever. But let's see. What about purple glitter? I don't know if I like this as an idea or not, but I just saw a glitter card base kind of peek out. This is pretty neat. I wonder if, like, I feel like silver would make more sense. Yes, is that what I have? No, I think I have VersaFine. It's not Tuxedo Black, but it's something like that. But yeah, somebody else was mentioning that ink, and it's one of those things I definitely need to try. Gold. Who might work? Or I could just use a totally different thing too. Let's see. I'm feeling like the glitter kind of pulls away from the card, so let's go with maybe a nice. We could match the pink, which you have this purpley pink. Yeah, I kind of like maybe matching the pink makes sense because pink is such a color on this card. And this is sort of, and she's wearing a purple, like a maroon hat, so I don't know. Maybe I'll keep this. I think it makes the mistiness kind of. I think I like this better. I think I'll pop her up a little bit. I like this. Okay, I think we can put this together. Always. But yeah, I want to try the Nocturne because a couple people have said that that's really good. Although I don't know, I'm sort of like until I run out of black ink, I don't know that I'll buy more. But I don't know. It's always like you listen to your friends and like I don't know. It's sort of like I don't need to have 500 things of ink. Oh, hi Terry. Oh well, I may have to try that. Yeah, I like the purple. I just felt like it was pulling a little bit more, but I kind of like this is like a purple leaning pink. I think it'll work well. Okay, I may have been out. I think I've been outvoted. Let's do it in purple. It's a very Halloween purple, so I mean, I think it works well with the Koalaween idea. I should be careful since I just taped this up, but I think that works. Let's do that. Guess we can just tape this because there's really no need. I don't really need to glue it. Leave just a little bit of purple showing. There we go. Just cut another piece of foam tape for her and figure out, well, maybe cut another little piece for her hat. Yeah, because I want to make sure her hat's supported. Oh, got a little piece of fuzz on there. There we go. And just get our release paper off. I suppose that's true. I mean, I use it on almost every card, so let's. There we are. I shall seek it out for sure. And let me just zoom in and we can look at our 2 cards we made today. And I'll take some nicer pictures, but I don't know. I'm liking both of these quite a bit. I think the ghost is still my favorite. Oh, thank you, Sharon. Thanks, Judy. Yeah, so I think the ghost is my favorite just because it looks like such a kid who's dressed up. I like the witch as well. I'm glad that we gave her a pink dress. I think it really makes her sort of pop out of the background. So, like, she's really sort of front and center. Oh, thank you, Terry. I appreciate it. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. I think we streamed a little. I try to keep my streams to like an hour so they're not super long, but we went a little longer today, but I think that was fine. Anyway, if you guys have preferred times for doing the live streams, definitely throw a note in the comments below. I'm still trying to figure out what the most optimal time is because I feel like weekends are cool, but like often people have a lot of stuff to do. Anyway, thanks for checking this out. And let me see if I have. Oh, I guess I need to make a like an outro clip. But thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and do all the YouTube things. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. Bye.